So the Black Baptist movement has been around a long time. And we are so happy for this movement because I can finally say, I've been speaking at all these other churches, AMEs and CMEs, but never Baptists. And I'm always telling them, okay, you all will get me after a while, you know. I said, now I'm at the Baptist church. Let's talk about the Baptist movement. If it had not been for the Baptist church, what would have happened to slaves? Who would have sung those freedom songs? Who would have given people courage and motivation to survive all of the atrocities that were occurring? The AME church was in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania was one of the first states to free all black people. As a matter of fact, black folks were able to vote during slavery in the state of Pennsylvania. But see, those folks that were living in Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, New York, Connecticut, and Massachusetts that were free had no idea as to what was happening in Mississippi, Georgia, and Alabama.
That's right.
These plantations in this area were the cruelest that ever could have been. Right. And look at us, look at you all. Yeah. Here we are now, standing proud, sitting in a church with a cornerstone, with a history going back to 1866 and 1865. The Emancipation Proclamation was signed. That means that somebody in Eufaula, Alabama was already on the job. Amen. Already planning, already moving. And I hear that you all bought a location for $5 to start the church. That was a lot of money back then. Yeah. You imagine people working night and day just to get that money to buy that property? But at least there was foresight to buy the property that the church was sitting on, as opposed to renting space. Yes. The idea of ownership meant that you wanted to control what happened in your church. And that's a wonderful thing. Yeah. The Black Baptist movement ended up organizing the Southern Baptist Convention, if I'm not mistaken. And you all, I'm sure, at one time were members of the Southern Baptist Association. Even though now there are a lot of independents. We don't know what they're doing. But hopefully you all are still in some form of organization so that churches can support one another. All right. The Black church movement has been critical in every community of black people in this country. One of the few places that we can find refuge from all the pain from the outside. We know that racism exists, and even in our churches, let me say this, we have classism, unfortunately. But racism is a serious problem in America and always will be. The church has given us sanctuary, and we love our churches. As a matter of fact, I guess when I see one, maybe I start looking at the historical significance sometimes before I even talk about membership. But I'm sure that there are families in here that have been here since they laid the first brick. And hopefully this church will survive and go on to greater things. This year's theme, folks, for Black History Month, according to Carter G. Woodson's group, is civil rights. Civil rights is the theme. And I don't want to start off with this case that just got settled in Florida or will still be in the courts for a while. But I would be remiss in my duties if I did not mention this case dealing with loud music and a young man ended up getting shot. This country is in trouble. I made this statement somewhere a time ago in reference to relationships and how people relate to one another. There is a term when white people are afraid of black people, and it's Negrophobia. You may look that up. Negrophobia. But there's no such phobia defined for the fear of that black people have for white people. And we are afraid of that. You might not say it, we don't want to admit it, but we know that there are some people who, when they see us, they don't see human beings. That's right. They have gone back somewhere in their minds where they want to believe that we have been defined as subhuman, that we are animals, that we don't even have pain, we don't even experience pain and suffering. Amen. There's something wrong with that. All right. Because when this country was founded, the United States Constitution had guarantees in it for all people. Those guarantees included life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Right. This child's life was taken without any form of justice. And he will not be the last. That's right. We've got to start teaching our children how to survive in America. Because America is not going to prep black folks for their own personal survival. African American males, young men,